We are back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are discussing Unseen by Karen Slaughter, which is the 7th book in the Will Trent series. For those of you who've never seen one of these videos before, here's how it's going to go down. First, I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, star rating, my own personal opinion, and I do it all without spoiling the book. Then I get into my Christian review, and that's where I go over the basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or anyone wanting to read it. I give more caveats and any more information you may need about these reviews at the video that's pinned at the top of the playlist. Or you should be able to click here somewhere. For now, let's go ahead and get into my regular review. Unseen by Karen Slaughter is the 7th book in the Will Trent series, and I had been reading through all of them back to back to back quite a bit. And so this book really kind of was the one that for me felt like, okay, I've read a lot of the same story a lot of times over. However, despite that, it was still so good. I know I've discussed in previous Karen Slaughter Will Trent series book reviews that it often reminds me of a Law & Order SVU episode. This one reminded me more of Law & Order Organized Crime, which is the one that Stabler ends up on and is now being recorded. I feel like it had a lot more of like crime rings and undercover cops and like all of these pieces that were a lot more complicated and detailed than they do in some of their other stories. But the crime itself was still fascinating and interesting, definitely kept me engaged, and the ending was so insane. I could not believe it. This book really had so many pieces that I love about Will Trent books, Will Trent series, and I feel like at this point in the series, I truly do just hang my hat on Will Trent, and I think he's so interesting, and I want to know everything that happens in this series. Ultimately, I rated this book 4 stars. If you want to see everything that I'm reading and rating in real time, you can do so by following me on Goodreads. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so if you want more of my day-to-day life and reading journey, check the links down below in the description box. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. The first category I always love to touch on is smut or spice because it's popular. There is actually one scene in this book. Sometimes there's none in this series, sometimes there's a little bit, and this is one very easy to skip past scene if you want to skip past it. It's a couple pages long, and you kind of feel it coming, so you can move yourself past it if you need to. The second category is explicit language, and again, as I've always said, there is a minor explicit language, but I feel like it's very tasteful and appropriate to the characters and their experiences, so it's a win. The third category is violence and gore. This book definitely aired on more violence and gore than her other books in this series. It was probably the most graphic of the ones in this series that I had read thus far. Now, I have read other Karen Slaughter books that are fairly graphic, so this is not uncommon for Karen Slaughter's writing as a whole, but it was definitely uncommon for the Will Trent series so far, except for that first book. In that way, I think that you just have to know that kind of going in if you're squeamish or if you are a very visual reader, and just know that you'll probably visualize a little bit more than you would if you were to read some of the other Will Trent books. This book is probably best for anyone aged 16 and up, mainly because of that gore category or violence category. Before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of these Christian reviews of regular books, plus me and my mom's podcast, The Journey We Share. On top of keeping you up to date, it also helps us know that the content we're providing is content you want to keep seeing. And since we're a nonprofit, it's like a free way to donate to our ministry without ever having to open up your wallet. So before you go, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and maybe even comment. And I cannot wait until we see you on the next one.